like really admire you. So it's so nice to have like these complementary things that are in the same community. So thank you.
Yeah, extremely complimentary. Yeah, it's so inspiring to see other people's work. I think it keeps us all going, like little incentive loops. We keep inspiring each other in these sort of spirals, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I just feel too tired and too exhausted, and then I come and see what everyone else is working on, and I'm totally filled with energy again. Hey, Vitor.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. It's really good to see you here. This is a perfect lab. Because, so this is going to be a bit of a different kind of lab. It's not going to be so much building. I'm calling it a Metalab because we're going to do a handoff of this tech hatch params that we've been doing. I've actually got a lot of inspiration from the um, simulator working group that Vitor, that you're always in, because I think the tech hatch params dashboard needs a bit of a project management handoff. So I'm going to go through a little bit of that today, so people can get exposed to that process, that project management, and having a community pick up the development of a project and keep it going. And then we're gonna take some time to plan out the future lab sessions. Um, and then there should be some time at the end, hopefully, for a little bit of a bonus special guest. Hi, Heater. Hey, Sam. Santi, nice. Hey, everyone. Oh, I don't have my panda. There we go. Hey, Griff.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try to get started a bit early today. Usually I give it 5 minutes, but I feel like there's a lot to cover today. We're gonna do three different sections. So we're gonna do this sort of community handoff of the Tech Hatch Params token log project and go over some of the issues there and how the development can be picked up by the community. We're gonna go over. Then we're gonna do a little session on planning future labs, and then we're gonna have hopefully some time at the end for a bonus material with a special guest. Um, so yeah, I'll get started. I'll jump in. So as always, find your way to the TEC Labs channel, and at the top we have pinned messages, and find the Notion workspace there. And if everyone can open up the attendance sheet, I'm excited to do a data science project on this attendance sheet at some point. Emoji analysis. Okay, insert column one left. Awesome. Santi, nice.
I'm running out of emojis.
This is the hardest part of the lab. Choosing an emoji. Awesome. Maybe we have some people joining in. No, we got a nice tight crew today. Okay, so while everyone's finding their way to the Notion workspace and plugging in their emoji for the attendance, I'm going to come down and open up the agenda for today. So we have these three parts here. We're gonna talk about this community handoff of the token log hatch params and really spin off and get this started as a standalone project. And this is really exciting because the token log system is ready to go. And we played around with this a little bit midweek in a params call with basically the stewards, the community stewards for the TEC. And there was a lot of excitement, and it's looking like it's in a good place for its kind of final stages. So what I've done is you could just as well go to the TEC lab repo, and I was working under this directory lab 8, which would be today. Um, but I've basically taken everything here. I've modularized the TEC, all the code and functionality, the data reading code, and these param classes. Um, I've put them all into a module here called tech.py for TEC hatch. And I've taken all this code and migrated it, basically just copied it over. So we're not going to work in this lab 8 space. Everything is going to be in this token log hatch params repository. And for anyone who's not familiar, we've got this cool sort of partnership play going with token log, which is an awesome project made by this wizard, Wesley, and he's put forward a proposal in the TEC forum as well to have this funded, and we're going to be using this in combination with the tech lab. And what this does is it allows us to use our tokens to vote on GitHub issues. So people are going to use the code that we've built out in the lab now in this token log hatch params repository. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the agenda for today, and oh, I think this is linked already. Oh yeah, the repository is linked. Okay, I'll link this as well. So this is fun. You can connect. You have to be on XDAI for this one. And this will bring up issues from the repository. So this is connected to the token log hatch params repository, and if we see the issues here, we're going to go through these in a bit because this is what needs to be updated for the Tech Hatch app. But I made an example one. So this is just to convey the idea. This is one way we would be able to do it is by posting images, a very simple way to do it. But basically everyone in the community is going to be able to open up these dashboards, these Tech Hatch dashboards. So this is the Dandelion voting one, where we can configure the parameters that we want to launch with, and we get the visualization to show what those parameters mean and what they're changing. And then if the community is really happy with these parameters, and we would do more than dandelion voting. One issue should actually have all the hatch parameters, which is about 4 components. Then we can come here. Okay, I'm on the wrong network. Sometimes I forget how to do this. But if we connect to the right network here, we'll actually see all, and we'll do a demo of this at a later time. Actually, Wesley is interested in doing a whole lab session on token log, and I think that's going to be next week. So we'll get a really deep dive into this, how it was built, how it works, what the story was behind it. So that'll be really nice. But essentially here we'll see all the issues associated with a particular repo. So this is actually pointing at the tech lab. So we're probably going to want to point one towards this token log hatch params repository. And then we'll have our community members come and play with the dashboard and post their results, and then the whole community will be able to vote on them here. So what we need to do as a community now, as the tech developers, as the lab attendees, is think about how to transition everything we've built so far into a final phase so that the community has access to it very easily. And there's a few ways to do that. One is we could take the notebook and deploy it on a Google Colab, which is essentially Jupyter Notebook hosted in the cloud, so anyone can access it. You don't have to think about cloning the repo or installing the Python packages or launching Jupyter Notebook. So that's a simple way to do it. There's another way to do it, which is to make a web app, and so that's what I want to talk about today. So I think it'll be easier. I want to reference these issues, but it'll be easier if we have the code up and running. So I just want to see what we have here. So I'm going to clone this repository. You might see this. I use this J command. This is a cool tool you can use on Linux called AutoJump. Just a small aside. So I'm sure if you, whoops. If you use the terminal, you're very familiar. The two first commands you'll ever learn are ls and cd. So I can cd into my workspace and then into the TEC. But this jump command allows you to jump anywhere on your file system. So I can go to a different workspace. I have my LTF workspace. I can jump to Spirit Foundation workspace, or jump to my documents probably. Oh, I've never gone to my documents folder before, so it's not registered in my jump, but jump to TEC. It's really cool. It allows you to jump around your file system. So now that we're here in the TEC, I have this cloned already, so I'm just going to cd into it. Token log hatch params, so this is the repository. Make sure I'm in sync. Let's check what my upstream is. Git remote -v. Yep. TEC commons. Okay. Master. Oh wait, this is not. Main branch. Yep. So I think this is fine. It says I'm already up to date. So what do we have here? First of all, let's start where we left off, which was how we've been working on this so far is in the Jupyter lab. So we have our test tech. Okay, so what I've done, like I mentioned before, I pulled out all the code into tech.py. So now we're importing modules. So we can do this. This gives us a lot of nice functionality for later, and actually anyone in the world could now use this tech module, import it. We could actually make a Python package out of this, post it on PyPy, and people could pip install it. Gotta love Python. So we just say from tech import read impact hour data, read CStack data, and we're going to import our classes, impact hours data, impact hours formula, the hatch, and the dandelion voting. And that allows us to use Python panel to render this stuff quite easily with not much code, because it's all sort of abstracted away in the module. And so this is good. So as developers, I want to be inspiring you, and some of you might be following along already. That would be super cool. And we've added some stuff to this since last time. This is the juiciest part. This needs to really be showcased. This is the actual target payout based on the parameters that we set up. So one thing that we've been talking with the tech spec group is that we're going to get rid of this. Anywhere you see this term expected, we're actually going to get rid of that, because it ends up being confusing, because it's a part of the, there used to be this parameter here, expected raise per impact hour. And we just feel like that's a pretty big concept for people to grasp. So Griff was like, well, it's really, what it is it's shape of the curve. It's the shape of the growth of the impact hours as we raise more. So Griff was thinking, well, let's just simply call it shape of the curve. And so that is one approach, but I feel like that's a bit too generic. So I came up with this title called the raise horizon. It's essentially how hard we are on ourselves. The higher it is, it just means we have to raise more money to get higher impact hours. It's like the strictness of the community. It's the slowness of growth of the impact hours. And
And
Mm.
just for a heater and Shardik, who may not know, impact hours are earned by people who are working on the TEC. So we do this thing where we dish praise, and then that praise gets quantified into impact hours, and then those impact hours will turn into tokens. It's kind of like the team percentage that, if like someone's doing an ICO or something, it goes to the team. Except it's almost like source cred, where you earn it based off of the work that you do. Uh, so yeah, and then
Dude,
this.
you
Yeah.
read my brain. I was like, is this basically sweat equity? And it's like, yeah, essentially.
Yeah. And so like now we have aligned the incentives where the more money that we raise, the less percentage is taken. Like the people who put money in to initialize the bonding curve, they're diluted less the more money we raise. And the people who earn the dilution, like the free tokens, they get more dollars per token. So that there's an alignment of incentives where both sides win the more that is raised. Instead of just a team percent being 10%, if we raise more, the team percent goes down, but the value of funds that the team receives goes up.
Yeah, it's like think of
Yeah.
the pie. So as the pie grows, the piece of the pie that goes to the team actually becomes a less percent, but it's always because the pie is growing faster than the piece of the pie is shrinking. So the more we raise, the more the team gets, but also the more we raise, the more of the pie the investors get. So everyone wants to raise more, basically.
Hmm.
Got it. Cool. Thank you.
Yep. I love this, like, bonding curves like this. Learned about it at ETH Denver with Griff and Saga and all them, and they actually won the hackathon based on their idea of doing a bonding curve for environmental reasons to sort of help fund and maintain and preserve public land, and fell in love with it ever since. So thanks for that rundown.
To me, that's the biggest thing. Using bonding curves to secure and protect public land. That's what I'm always thinking about. I think that's so important. Yeah, definitely cool stuff. I've been going through the cadcad.education course, which I highly recommend to anyone interested in this stuff. Cadcad.education.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good. The final boss. Yeah, chapter 7, the final boss is really cool. It's like save the planet kind of case study. Um, so
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far, but
oh yeah, it's
I imagine it's tough.
but overall this course is really amazing. The way it makes you think, and it gives you all the tools you need to really be able to put CAD into practice, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so
Dude, that's so
mhm.
funny. Sorry to
Go ahead.
interject, but like I just messaged Zargum today. I just realized this is made by Block Science, like Zargum and those guys.
Yep, definitely
Oh my
CAD
God.
is. In fact, you want to
Dude.
use this course is $200, but if you can use the keyword block science.
Oh my God, dude, this is so funny. I hit up Zargum today. I was like, dude, like, do you have any, this is Griff, I love you, man, so much. I just want to give you a big hug and hold you close right now, bro. So badly, man. I'm gonna definitely jump into this as soon as I can. This is amazing.
Excellent. So glad you're here. This is awesome. Lots of
This
love
is the this
for
is the
Griff.
stuff we need, man. This is
Yeah.
what the community needs, are these tools. This is so amazing. So amazing. This is amazing.
Okay. So it's not finished yet. It's gonna get a lot more amazing. So I just want to bring the attention to what we need now. And I know Vitor's here. He's thinking hard. He's like, what can I do? What's the next steps? So a lot of this can be simplified. I want you guys to definitely the most important way to get involved is run this whole thing yourself. Someone's typing kind of loud there.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thanks, Metaverde. Nice to see you here too. Um, awesome. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, the best way to get involved with this is definitely run the notebook for yourself and play with every widget, because I've kind of gone through all the parameters a few times now, and there's recordings so you can check out from the lab workspace. You can see the YouTube playlist, and there's some good ones of me really going through this stuff in detail. But what we need now is some refactoring and some simplicity. So like I said, we're going to take out, so this is expected impact hours. We can take that out. This raise horizon, we only need one crosshair here, which is going to be target raise, and there's an issue for that. You'll see between this impact hours formula and the hatch, we duplicate this concept of maximum and minimum raises. And so if those could be unified in some way. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is the most concrete one that is like the perfect first issue to tackle, and it's going to have the most impact because it's going to make things way more simple and way more beautiful. And what we want to do, here we have a visualization of the funding pool and the cultural tribute that comes out of that based on the impact hours formula. This graph should be actually removed from this whole panel here, and this data should be combined on the hatch so that we get this final view of the raise. We're going to have the funding pool, which should not be called the funding pool. It should be called the redeemable reserve. And I do believe there's an issue for that. Let me double check. Redeemable. Oh yeah, here.
Yeah, number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really good issue to take a look at. Vitor, you might want to take a look at this one. And I don't know if I have like a signee. Oh, good first issue. Yes, I think Griff is on this in the back end. This is awesome. Someone's on it. Okay, so that's what I like to see. Parallelism is the best thing ever. So yeah, combine these graphics here and move this to the front here so that we don't have so much like cognitive overload. We're just going to have the actual impact hours curve with only one crosshair, which is going to be the target raise, and this impact hours results will be right here, nice and visible. So this will be quite simplified, and then this will be a more comprehensive picture that has the hatch tribute, the cultural tribute, and the redeemable reserve. So that's going to be really nice. And then finally we have the dandelion voting. This is just so cool. I want to play with it, but I think everything that I don't know if there's any issues on this, but there might be. We went through quite a bit of these the other day, and really good resources are going to be the videos, the most recent lab, and there's another one. I'm not sure if it got posted to YouTube, but I'll make sure it does get posted. And that was, I think, from this past Wednesday when a lot of the community stewards and Jake and Griff and Sem was there, and we went through in detail all this everything on the dashboard here and how it can be improved and how we can serve it to the community. So I'll make sure that's posted on YouTube, and then anyone who wants to dive into this and start tackling issues, you're going to have all the resources you need. And of course, reach out. You can direct message. You can post in the TEC Labs channel. But there's another cooler thing I want to talk about with this. And it is, I've started, so this comes from the Python panel docs. And if we go like user guide, then we get deploy and export. I think this is it. So it talks about how to launch your panel app, panel serve. So this is, but I'll just show you how it works. Panel serve app.py. Is it that simple? And what is app.py? Okay, this looks like, let's see what it is. I think it launched a server, local server. Okay, so this is a React app. This is so cool. what we can do is we can take all of our visualizations, and because what this does is it's a pretty powerful stack. When these are hollow views visualizations being composed as a panel dashboard, and what hollow views actually does is the real core visualization library is called bokeh, and bokeh is like a bridge between Python and JavaScript. So what's actually being displayed here is JavaScript objects. And bokeh is really powerful, really beautiful. I almost never use it. It's too low level for me. The stack is bokeh, hollow views, and then hvplot is the highest level interface. And I'm usually on that hvplot level. Sometimes I go into using hollow views directly to get a bit more leverage on what's possible. But if you use bokeh, it's like a visualization primitives library, so you can actually make absolutely any kind of visualization you can imagine with this. Kind of similar to D3 for anyone familiar with D3. So what we have here is we actually have a React app launched, and this is cool. This is a template. So if we see in the panel docs and we go to templates, then they talk about how you can use a Jinja template, which is a standard templating language common in Python. It's used with the Django REST framework and various other ways of deploying websites from Python code, if anyone's familiar, but this is a good documentation piece. So this is the default Bootstrap template, and you can check out the different templates available here. Let's take a look at the code to see what's actually happening. So I use this from the panel library, panel.template.react template. I just give it a title, and then you have access to some configuration. Sizing mode is stretch both, and then we're just doing what we just did in the Jupyter Notebook. I'm just loading the data, creating the panel widgets, like instantiating our classes, just like we did in the Jupyter Notebook. So I instantiate the impact hour rewards, the hatch, and then I'm using this sidebar view to fill in the parameter widgets, and you'll notice the similarities in here, because here we say, like, we have our impact hour rewards. This is our actual instantiated panel object. So if we go panel.pane, or we could go like row, and we put in impact hours rewards, then by default any panel object will just give us access to all of its widgets. And then every visualization is a function on the parameterized class. So if we see our impact hours rewards formula, these are all of our parameters, and these are just going to get visualized for free when we pass this instantiated object to Python panel, into a panel pane or a row or a column. It's just going to visualize all of our parameters for free, which is what we see here. And then if we want visualizations, we define them as functions. So this is the impact hours rewards. And what this does is, what you'll find in here, the meat of this function, is just a Python visualization. So I'm just setting up our variables, creating a data frame of data, and then visualizing it using hvplot, and then returning the composed hvplot visualization. And what this does is, anything in here that references a parameter, once this gets rendered by Python panel, it will automatically reproduce the visualization. So it'll rerun this function anytime that any of these parameters are updated, any of the parameters that it depends on. So maximum impact hour rate, raise horizon, total impact hours. Anytime any of these are changed through our widget, it will automatically re-render the visualization that is connected with it. And how we can, the best way to hack on this is like, and this works all the time for Python. This is so cool. You just grab this code. I do this all the time. Okay, it's nice and modular. It's in a function, but I want to actually explore it and see what it does. So I just grab it, paste it in a cell. Oops. Maybe I don't need all these. I'm not even going to worry about the indentation. It should run, I think. Well, let's just do this. Okay, and then take out this return. And then we're referencing self here, but self is just an object. So in this case, it's impact hours rewards. So I just go self equals impact hours rewards. And maybe this will just run. Row object, let's see, line 1. It seems to be a row object. Has no attribute total impact hours. So, oh, I set this to the wrong thing. It should be our panel object, which is impact hours rewards. NumPy is not defined. Okay, so we go import NumPy as NP. Pandas, import pandas as pandas. And probably I just want to run all my imports. Oh, I need hollow views. Import hollow views as HV. Okay, so now we have our visualization. So this is how you can like really hack on this stuff super easily, because we have our panel object and we get access to all of these, but you can also just play with this outside of the like panel environment, outside of this whole thing being an instantiated class, basically. And what that does is you can now play with everything because this is all just right in our namespace. So if you visualize this, well, then you could, anything here, you could say, oh yeah, what was y again? What is y? Okay, y is this, like, it's our y-axis, I guess. So we create it using this list comprehension over x. So this is basically our formula that we're applying to x. And then we make this data frame. So what was our data frame again? Okay, well, here's our data. So this is what's actually being visualized here. Well, how do we visualize it? The first thing we do, so we set the columns, and then let's just try running this impact hours plot. Impact hours plot is this. Okay, so we don't have these crosshairs here. So what did we do to get those? We use this star operator, which is really cool. This is a HoloViews thing. It composes plots together. If they have the same axes, then this just works nicely. So we're just adding vertical and horizontal lines. So we're going to remove a lot of complexity. We're going to remove these, the concept of expected, and we're just going to have targets. So now we just have a target crosshair. And this is how you can line by line play around with these visualizations and get them to something you're happy with, and then package them back up into the class. I think that's going to help a lot of people. I'm glad I did this little showcase here. And one thing I'll also show you, if you're playing with this is almost ready to be deployed, but it definitely needs some work. And if anyone wants to jump on this, because I think this is something we should do for the test hatch, is have our whole dashboard deployed as a web app. And so if anyone does want to work on this directly, feel free to dive in, but also if you want to chat with me, feel free to reach out, because I could probably offer some guidance. And I think there was one, oh yeah, I just want to show one thing. let me quit out of Vim here. What do we got? Whoops. Oh yeah, so I like to maintain this. I mentioned this last time. I'm gonna copy recursively from the TEC lab. I have my Scratch directory, so this is ignored by Git, so it's where I can do anything, and I'm gonna copy that here. It's a big repository because I cloned a bunch of reference repos in there, and I'm gonna make sure that it's Git ignored. So I'm gonna add Scratch to my Git ignore, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up Vim and explore here in my nerd tree. So I know that I have the panel repository, so I've just git cloned this. And in here we have the panel source code, and we have template, React, and React.html. So this is the actual Jinja React template that comes with the panel repository, and it's being used to render all of this right here. But we can totally customize this. We can grab this template and reference it, reference our own local copy, and then just totally change it. Like we could just, add a big H1, welcome to TEC hatch params, and start to have fun with this. So I don't think that's going to render right here, but that's sort of the direction that we can go with this. So I think we could have a working group, or I'm not sure how we'll coordinate. I think I'll reach out to Griff. I'll get some help from the general sort of project management side, but there's a lot of good issues here to get started, and we'll incorporate this into the sprint planning basically to make sure we have something super awesome in line with how like the test hatch is unfolding. And next week, hopefully, we're going to have a lab with Wesley, so he can go into much greater detail of token log. I think he's down. We've been chatting with him. He was a little on the fence, but we've been encouraging him. He didn't think he could really fill an hour, but I think we can make it work really well. Okay, I've spent about 8 more minutes than I wanted to. Does anyone have any questions at this point about where the direction of this or anything in general, really?
I got a quick one.
Yep.
Hopefully it's not too beginner. But what questions is that dashboard gonna help the Commons answer? Is it like for people to kind of go play around with parameters and just understand how the different raise amounts translate on the graph? Or like to help people understand what target raise and what to expect in terms of impact hours and stuff? Or like what questions will there be?
Oh, this is so good, and questions need to be reincorporated. And there's an awesome like Griff. I might not recall off the top of my head. Where were those? Was it in this?
Yeah, it's in that one. Yep, that's it.
Okay, so I'll migrate that over.
And I actually made an issue and referenced it and added some of these questions.
Oh, amazing,
Here
amazing.
we go. It's the latest issue. It's just for the dandelion one, and then I was going to make another one for the important parts of the hatch and stuff. But add a few printouts of what dandelion params mean to the output.
Oh yeah, nice. I was just gonna come and link this. This is awesome. So this is good to get people started, but I'll also answer your question. It's this idea of your economy, your choice. So this is sort of a slogan that we've been broadcasting. And what we're doing here is we want to get all the vested hatchers, everyone who's part of this community and helping build, and anyone really, to come in and be able to tune all these parameters, because these match directly to let's see if I can bring this up, new DAO, or it should be referenced in one of our past labs.
I would go to the implementation spec on the forum.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh man, my internet died like as soon as I asked that question, so I missed everything.
That's okay. We were just going in circles. We were just starting to answer the question.
Okay, good.
uh, but lots of important stuff came out. There's a issue. The newest issue on here is actually laying out the questions that are to be answered. And so this is an expansion that we want to add onto the template. And the goal of this whole experiment.
It's the top middle in Daniel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
So here we have the full specification, the full technical specification of our DAO. Everything that is configurable in the smart contracts, everything that we have choice over, and we can change as we want to. So there's a nice introduction here, the implementation, token holders, and then there's these components, the actual token manager. Now here's the dandelion voting. This is super important because the hatch is going through a two-phase process. Phase 1 is this hatch in which we initialize essentially we're initializing the dandelion voting, which is going to give us, it's like the DAO God mode, so it's how we can actually change parameters of the DAO in the future. So this is super important to get right. And these are the two voting parameters. It's like based on how many tokens show up, what percentage of them must vote yes for a proposal to pass. Minimum quorum is what percentage of all tokens in existence must vote yes on a vote for it to pass. And then some timing about the voting. The hatch, what's our minimum goal? What's our maximum goal? What's the hatch period? What's the exchange rate? This is going to determine how many tokens are going to be made. And this is cool. This is a non-redeemable component of the hatch. So when hatchers co-invest into the hatch, they have this option to actually exit and just take their money back. Especially based on how like proposals are moving through the dandelion voting process to launch phase 2 of the hatch, which is going to be the bonding curve and conviction voting initialization. So if hatchers like aren't happy with the proposals that are going through and about to be passed for the whole sort of future configuration of the DAO, then they can exit and take back their investment, but they except for this 5%. Whatever they invested, 5% is non-redeemable, and that is a contribution to the hatch. So the point is to choose these parameters. So we've been very carefully and delicately building out forum posts for every single parameter. You can go in and read. There's nice descriptions. There's people talking about these parameters and how we might want to choose them. So this is turning into a wonderful source of literature. And now the final piece of this is to enable everyone in the community to go in and tweak these as they see fit and make their completely own custom version of the DAO launch. And the way that they get to do that is through these visualizations. So they're going to say, okay, I think our max raise, and right now we're moving towards a test hatch. So the numbers are kind of funny. Like sometimes you might see the target raise. Oh, like the expected payout is like 1.2 XDAI for our highest contributor. But that's because this is test hatch parameters, and that's particularly from this. Well, it would be this one, yeah. So this is saying we're only going to pay people maximum 100th of an wrapped XDAI per hour, but these are based on test hatch default parameters.
1 penny an hour. That seems reasonable.
So, yeah, the point is to
It's literally the minimum wage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the idea here is that we actually deployed this on XDAI and as a test. And so because it's a test, we didn't want people to put in thousands of dollars. So we set everything with really small numbers. And that's the same for the implementation spec. We deployed it, and then we used the actual deployment to confirm how the spec needs to be written to match the actual deployment. But now we have the spec that matches the deployment, so we can take the spec and make a new deployment just by changing some numbers, and then making the new deployment match the spec. So it's this kind of
yeah, it's an actual interface. Awesome. It's like a full interface, and this could be connected. So based on how these parameters are selected, there could be this sort of button at the end where you say, okay, now export this DAO. And it could take all the parameters that you've selected. It could go and populate a tech spec document. And it could also go and populate the smart contract configuration file to set all of these parameters. So it creates this sort of DAO factory pipeline kind of thing.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for explaining all of that.
It's nice to go through it and flesh it out. But let's that's awesome. I'm gonna set all that stuff aside. I'm gonna take 5 minutes to just talk about the labs. So I definitely want everyone to be very comfortable with this Notion workspace. This is kind of I don't want the whole world to know this, but this page is completely public and editable by anyone. So anyone can come in here and modify it. It's kind of a risky experiment. In fact, what I should do, I think what I'll do is I'll just snapshot this. I'm just gonna like back this up, make a copy that is not modifiable, just in case, worst case scenario, someone comes in and deletes everything, we would have a snapshot backup. So that's what I'm going to do. But everyone should feel very comfortable opening up the agenda. Notes can be written in here, questions, notes. This is going to evolve over time. This is definitely an evolving process, and I want people to really get more comfortable with this and have some skin in the game, make some edits and contributions. I did at the very bottom here, I created this like lab crew page. And so I just started noting people who have jumped in and done different things, but this can fully be like anyone can come in here and say, hey, I posted some promotion, put your tag, however you want to be identified, and your contact, and so these are like roles. Oh yeah, and then this is a housekeeping table. So any of the little sort of migrations or cleanups, or sometimes like making a requirements file, or documenting the README, sometimes little things need to be done, so anyone can come and post in here. Just like clean up stuff. And then whoever goes and finishes it, it can just put a check. And this could later be rolled up into some contributions, money allocation, because there's a proposal out for 15 to 30,000 DAI is being requested to run the labs for 6 months. And this is a good read, and it's got all the resources available here. And this funding could really go towards interesting things. Like, I don't know, maybe we would be able to entice some really high caliber speakers, like Austin Griffith does his Scaffold ETH presentations, which are just so cool. And like he's just such a wizard, and he gives so much information away for free. So someone like that, it would be awesome to have sort of an incentive to invite him into the labs and do like an hour session. And then those tables that we went over, anyone sort of making contributions should have access to this funding if it goes through. And there could even be some fun like consensus or governance or something like that applied to this on how funds are allocated and how scheduling is done. So far, I'm just sort of taking the reins and keeping this alive, but I do see it moving into a more decentralized state. But anyone can come in and fill in future lab sessions. We have one volunteer, Mark. He's going to be doing some sessions in February. So he's doing CAD for Energy Web, and then he's doing, Lab 11. Oh, I don't think these have been modified, but he's built a simulator for Energy Web in CAD and in Token Spice, which are two very awesome token engineering, modeling, and simulation frameworks. And they're very different in the way they're structured. So it's going to be awesome.
You see what's called Spice?
Yeah, Token Spice, and the newest one is Token Spice 2. So let's see, Token Spice 2, Ocean Protocol.
Ah, nice. Trent is the man.
Oh, he's the man. Definitely, yeah. He's doing some cool stuff. Now, so that's just a little bit on... Actually, I want to do a little exercise. What I wanted to do, I'm going to open up a page here. It says write some notes. So I'm going to make a page. And I want to go around to everyone here and get some ideas. What would you like to see from the labs? Is there anything, maybe you have an idea of a session you could lead, something you would like to showcase or teach or show off, maybe a project, or something you would like to see. So let's take some time. I hope we have a few minutes at the end to play around. Just a showcase of what's coming later today from Lunaswarm. But let's do a round here. Oh, lots of people. Sweet. Nico, how about you? Go ahead.
Hey, man.
Hey, Nico.
Yeah. Yeah. So adding on to that, yeah, I think it'd be super cool if Austin Griffith would come through with a lab for Scaffold ETH. I don't know if a lot of you guys know about Scaffold ETH, but yeah, man, that is so OP. Like for building front ends, Web3 apps. It's really easy, and then you can just edit the contract, and it kind of like edits the front end for you. It's really nice. So yeah, thanks, man.
Nice. Also, is there anything you would like to teach in the labs?
Oh yeah, dude, I'd be down. I know I know a lot of CCXT, and I've been learning more and more Solidity as time goes. So yeah, that could be cool. Like, I don't know if you guys know me, but my background is mostly with just making like kind of like bots, trading bots and stuff. And me and Sean have been working on making like AI trading bots and stuff. So yeah, that'd be super interesting. It's definitely something I can offer and help out with.
Excellent. Thank you, Nico. I like Griff's
So
approach
thanks, Andy.
of parallelism. If anyone wants to jump into this doc and start filling it out, definitely feel free. Yeah, thanks, Nico. I think people would love to see this. For anyone who doesn't know CCXT, it's a sort of general interface to cryptocurrency exchanges so that you can query their data and you can execute trades. It unlocks a lot for automated trading. Very, very exciting stuff. So, Nico, you want to pass it to someone?
Sure. Tonga, what would you want to say and what would you want to teach?
Sorry, I was making coffee. I was running to the computer. How are you, YGG? I don't have anything in particular. I am studying the Aragon stack. Maybe I can help a little bit showing niche or something, but for maybe in a few months, not for now. Yeah, I don't know. I will pass it to Sam.
Hello. I would like to see. Well, we have been focusing a lot on the hats because this is the the first phase of the launch. But I also would love to see how bonding curves work on the labs, especially the one that we are going to be using, because I think that it's going to be interesting for token engineering, and I guess that we could do that. I could be in the part of teaching it, but I still don't know which I will have to prepare it. And I'm going to pass it to what is your name? Shardratik.
Oh, in terms of sharing stuff. Let me think. So I'm getting back in. I took a bit of a break to try and fundraise and sell some PPE to fund the project that we're working on is like a perpetual volume and value creation machine. So I'm kind of like just getting back in and getting like spreading out getting back into the space, so I don't have much to say.
That's
But we're working
awesome,
on this
though.
project.
That sounds like it would make for a
Yeah.
good lab.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I guess the analogy is like a tokamak. If you guys know what a tokamak is with like nuclear fusion, like those things that just like creates, it's like a sun inside of a machine, and then we try to like create like fusion. Essentially, we want to try to do that for DeFi. So that's why I'm here, like talking to Griff again and getting replugged back into the crypto community to just. So I don't know. So we're out. Just I'm trying to think of what are some good. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't think off my head of anything of value that I can deliver. Give me a sec. Let me think about this, and I'll come back to me, and I'm sure there's some things that I have in my brain somewhere.
Okay, a sun inside of a machine for DeFi sounds pretty cool. Sounds pretty valuable. So that's awesome. Do you want to pass it to someone, Shardratic?
Yeah, let's pass it to Santiago. And we're passing away to Santiago.
Yeah, hi everyone.
And there he is.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So yeah, well, yeah, I think it's the TC Labs has been pretty cool until now. Yeah, I think that maybe we can also try to jump into give a more deep dive into other CAD models that have been built by the community. Yeah, but yeah, doing the deep dive into the TEC commons and then Delium voting and bonding curves. Yeah, it's also pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Santiago, is there anything you would like to teach?
I don't know. Yeah, well, my background is in also in I know I'm a data science engineer. I'm also a Ethereum developer, so I also know a bit about solid writing or coding dApps and writing Solidity. Yeah, maybe I can come up with some idea in the coming weeks. Something I can teach you to the
Amazing.
community as well.
I think there's a lot. Yeah, Santiago gave a really impressive and educational presentation in the Ocean Protocol Study Group last year. That was it was really nice. So even that, Santi, something like that, or I think there's a lot that we could have fun with here.
Yeah, cool.
And do you want to pass it to someone?
Yeah, I want to pass it to Vitor.
Hey guys, I think that one thing that I would like to see, but I don't know if this is the scope, but maybe looking more of thinking deeper about how people will behave related to the hatch, and like we're more modeling the smart contract and this part, but like looking and thinking more on this because it's kind of a tricky thing, like doing some agent-based modeling. There is something that we're struggling in the simulator. It's not that simple. I would like maybe to add some of this, and I think that's the thing I'm most interested in.
Yeah, Vitor,
I think that's it.
this is something I'm really interested in, and I really like working with probability distributions. So I would love to add a lot of those in for like change in sentiment over time and things like that, but also on the AI side, so getting into things like reinforcement learning. That's a big part of my background is in AI, and I spent a lot of time researching reinforcement learning. So it's always been my dream to bring that in more into all this modeling that's happening. So I think that's a huge, like, really exciting thing to be working towards. So we can have a lot of conversations on this.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to pass it off?
Gonna pass to Juan.
Thank you, but I am really bad at programming, just learning by listening, and I am good at other stuff, but not at this. And I think we already have passed all, or I don't know if Metaverde you would like to teach.
Oh, I don't want to teach anything. I'm still sheep in the city, dazzled by the sparkly things. So I'll pass too.
Anything you would like to see in particular, Metaverde, modeled, or anything that you would like us to tackle in the labs?
Um, I'm liking what we're doing with the modeling with the CAD. I'm still I'm taking Santi's data analysis course, and I'm haven't had a chance to get to the block science CAD course yet. So I'd like to know more about how source cred works, if that's something that can be gone over slowly. And also,
Cool.
I'm super interested in tokenomics. Um, not necessarily just like with the hatch, but like comparing different models of tokens. But that may be something that you went over in a previous lab that I missed.
Oh no, this is awesome. This is great stuff. I think.
Yeah, because
I'm just gonna say it is the top of the hour, so
sorry.
I'm just gonna stick around if anyone wants to drop off. Our special guest is Sem. I invited Sem to talk about some of the things that he's built, and him and I are going to be going over in the Lunaswarm call this afternoon. So I'm just going to give a teaser from. Well, it's in the agenda today. You can see a link to some of the cool work that Sem has been working on, and him and I are going to go over it in the Lunaswarm call today, which is happening at 1 p.m. PST. It's on the OneHive calendar, so I hope to see some of you there. And,
Yeah, I'll try to.
Yeah, we are going to be grabbing data from the API for conviction voting. So maybe it could be for
And yeah, sorry I interrupted Metaverde. I want to give people a chance if they have to go, but also I'm going to stick around. We can finish going through anyone who hasn't got a chance yet.
I gotta head out. Thanks for the session.
Awesome.
Thanks, Peter.
Learned a lot.
I have to go too, but I want to just say my things. Obviously, I'm very biased because I want to see the TEC stuff finished. So finishing the TEC hatch down models, and continuing that progress is great. Doing the Commons upgrade models, very excited to see how we can make that also show off the bonding curves and conviction voting models that we'll have. So that'll be really interesting. I think ncase.me is super cool. There's all sorts of really interesting and I would like to see the TE community a little more exposed to that, especially around like behavioral stuff. But like, evolution of trust, most people have seen. I think the parable of polygons is really informative. But also Loopy is fucking amazing. If you haven't seen Loopy, like you probably have seen Loopy and you just didn't know it. This place has so many cool simulations to play with.
That's cool.
This is super amazing. I'd also be down to see some more maybe it's not for the labs, I don't know, but the TE philosophy channel is really cool. I don't participate, but I read, and it's amazing what people are talking about in there. I think it'd be cool to give them a space to talk about the layer above the tech, and also the cultural build for the TEC itself. I think is also along the same lines where it's like, okay, yes, we have this tech, but I think Vitor was saying this too. We need to integrate more behavioral into it, and the cultural piece is part of that. And the work that Santi and Vitor are doing on the Commons Simulator is incredible. It's the only object-oriented CAD model that exists, as far as I know. And so just having an expose on the challenges around there, and also just like how it works, and it has such a beautiful front end that people can play with, like what's the behind the scenes there, would be really interesting. Okay, those are my ideas.
Amazing. Thanks, Griff.
Yeah. Should I pass it to someone, or did you want to end? I'm not sure.
Unless if anyone else wants to go. Chuy Garcia. I think you're the last one, actually.
Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. Well, I don't really have a lot to contribute since I don't code, but yeah, same as Metaverde, just like getting a little bit of what's going on in the community.
Awesome.
So I realized that you wrote at the top where you're saying teaching. So I wasn't thinking I'd necessarily teach that, but I'm not much of a coder. I mean, I would learn how to use CAD for the sake of building our project, but I'd love to learn more about like how like the combination of CAD or like crypto economic building, token modeling combined with like quadratic voting, quadratic funding, and something using like what OneHive's doing with kind of like a UBI in a sense, where they're just kind of like a faucet. They're just giving out money to people based on their unique identity. So something that I'd love to learn more about, like the intersection of like radical exchange, CAD, and a UBI driving like, because like if you look at like what just happened with respect to this whole GameStop thing, and hedge funds are now like hating what happened with all this, like their shorts got liquidated and all this, but like a lot of that money that all these people put in came from the government in the form of the stimulus payments. So all these people are bored at home, they have these stimulus payments and they've injected it into the market, and they've kind of like, you know, consciously focused many individual nodes in a single stock or a single thing to create this like insane like wave of energy. So I wonder if there could be, on that note of the event that we all just saw, if one could create like a economic model that could almost like perpetually give people like a UBI that could be like put into some kind of like a DeFi product that creates this like, takes that momentum of energy and like accelerates it, but also is governed in such a way that like even though you have more tokens, it doesn't necessarily give you more governance power. So anyway, that's like everything that I'm interested in or thinking about with anything that's going on here.
That is awesome. So you're going to be excited because there's a specific Gitcoin themed 8-week, very similar to these lab sessions. It's like the thing's called a hack session. It's with Danilo. He's a very good researcher with block science. He's a CAD hacker, and he's going to do an 8-week series on specifically Gitcoin modeling and funding modeling and network modeling and all sorts of cool stuff. That's going to be on Thursdays for 8 weeks. There'll be some promo coming out. You can stay tuned in the TEC Labs channel. The promo will get pushed through there, or TEC comments on Twitter.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Thanks everyone. It's over time. I don't know if we're hoarding this channel or if someone else needs it. Yeah, it's nice to stick around and chat. Usually TEC calls get cut off at the hour. That's what I'm used to. But yeah. I think I'm going to drop off. It's been an awesome lab, and anyone can feel free to stick around and chat. But I'm going to drop off. Feel free to direct message me, drop stuff in the TEC Labs channel, and let's keep this train going. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, before you go, I'm crashing YGG's lab. Hey, I got a link in the general channel for Token Log. If you have impact hours, you have impact hour tokens. Go to Token Log. TE Commons is there. Prioritize our issues. Get used to using Token Log so we can put you together with these labs, these models, and get you ready to choose params for the hatch. Yeah.
Thank you, Jake.
All right.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for doing this, everyone.
Awesome.